ships. Before the advent of the present power system of this is what you call as the present ships. Previously, on a ship, steam plant was kept. You might see those ships in the English movies or Hindi movies, and they use to use this thermal power station on the thermal ships propellers through gearboxes. Nuclear marine population is, with few exceptions, used only on naval vessels. आपल्याकडे न्यूक्लिअर सबमरीनला खूप महत्व आहे आणि आपल्याकडे त्याचं म्हणजे ते पॉवर्ड बाय न्यूक्लिअर पॉवर पण असतात आणि दे कॅन लॉन्च द न्यूक्लिअर व्हेइकल्स मिसाइल्स ऑल्सो. ही हीट सायकल आहे तुम्हाला जे मी आता सांगितले. हाय प्रेशर टर्बाइन, लो प्रेशर टर्बाइन, जनरेटर, नंतर लो प्रेशर टर्बाइनच्या तिथून कंडेन्सरला जात. ग्राफ मध्ये ओके. यस सर. Nuclear energy. E is equal to mc square was the equation which led to this nuclear energy. We will now see its pros and cons. So, नाही. ऍटम मध्ये जे प्रोटॉन्स आणि न्यूट्रॉन्स असतात त्याचं जे फ्युजन आणि फ्युजन केलं आपण तर ती ॲटॉमिक एनर्जी तयार होते आणि ॲटॉमिक न्यूक्लिय मधून ती पास होते. केमिकल रिॲक्शन्स तयार होतात आणि ऑर्बिटल इलेक्ट्रॉन्स जे आहेत फक्त त्यात इन्व्हॉल्व होतात. मी तुम्हाला आधीच सांगितलं न्यूक्लिअर फिशन म्हणजे न्यूक्लियसला ब्रेक करणे. एनरिच्ड युरेनियम यासाठी वापरलं जातं. It is now, I will tell you an interesting matter. E is equal to mc square was the equation which was derived by Einstein and which was used for the concept of nuclear fission at the Manhattan project in the Nevada वाळवंट जे म्हणतो आपण त्याला, त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी प्लांट होता आणि 4 ते 5 सायंटिस्टनी 4-5 वर्ष काम करून पहिला ॲटम बॉम्ब तयार केला आणि तो हिरोशिमावर टाकला गेला. आणि सेम आपण कन्सेप्ट यूज करतो, पण आपलं जे न्यूक्लिअर फिजन आणि फ्युजन जे होतं त्याला आपण कंट्रोल्ड करतो. कंट्रोल करून तिला त्याच्यातून एनर्जी हळूहळू सस्टेन करतो. तर त्याची जी एनर्जी सस्टेन केलेली आहे ती परत आपण बॉयलरला आणि परत आपल्या जनरेटरला देणे. म्हणजे एक्सेप्ट कोल बेस्ड power, this is the nuclear energy is controlled by nuclear fission devices called as reactors. Yes. Disadvantages of commercial energy resources. Once sources of non-renewable energies are gone, they can't be replaced or reutilized. Mining of non-renewable energy and byproducts, they have been cause damage to the environment. So these are the disadvantages of conventional energy, that once we use it, it is exhausted. So this exhaustion again leads to increased input requirement of the system that is more coal and more oil or more uranium for enriching, and that this is the main cause of the problem which we are facing for energy consumption. Yes. Coal, oil and gas are dangerous and polluting. This level is such a bad thing that even you might have read the news that at a particular village they are finding out a lead in the blood of the patients. So where from this lead came? It came from the percolation of water through the soil from a nearby chemical factory. So at Sadegaonkar of Aurangabad also there is this problem. In the soil there is a lot of dirty water or polluted water with chemicals, and this has been there as thrown by the industries from the use of their gas extracting or like that devices. Yes. So energy crisis has led to the havoc of the ecosystem of the earth. म्हणजे एनर्जीचा जो आपला प्रॉब्लेम आहे त्याची आपल्याला रिक्वायरमेंट आहे, त्यामुळे आपण बऱ्याचशा वेळा अर्थच्या इकोसिस्टमला आपण डिस्ट्रॉय करत असतो. This has led us to energy crisis. तो कसा एनर्जी क्रायसिस येतो ते पुढे दाखवेन मी तुम्हाला. Coal and oil are limited. Efficiency of thermal generation is equal to 50% only. Their extensive uses have caused depleting rapidly. In India alone, the deposits of petroleum are used to last only a few decades. Coal reserves will last for just another 100 years. That is a grim situation right now. Also, we are importing good quality coal, and good quality of coal is not available in India, which I am telling you from my own personal experience. You might be thinking that it is available here, it is available there, but overall, it is not available anywhere. Okay. Rising cost. So this has led to give the importance to research on alternative sources of energy. So we will learn about this carbon dioxide emissions, and our generation of nuclear is only 4780 MW, only 3% of nation's power generation. What is the importance of carbon dioxide emissions? That I will tell you ahead. Now, what is this greenhouse effect and all that I will tell you later on. But right now it is important that the amount of fuel required is very less when compared to conventional thermal power plant, and operational cost is also cheaper. And it also does not emit greenhouse gases into atmosphere. Nuclear fuel itself is highly dangerous. And radioactive waste is very expensive. Krypton and xenon are stored for 40 to 50 years till they decay just to 1%. They decay to 1% and they are disposed in deep sea. So this is a very problematic thing, that those employees who are working on the nuclear power plant, they are facing always danger of the radioactivity, which leads to cancer, ulcers, and skin damages, even to certain death of the engineers and staff working on the power plant. Heavy water is a term you might have read in newspapers. Heavy water is HO, not H2O. It is required for the cooling of reactors. You might remember the Baba Atomic Research, the first nuclear plant created by Dr. Homi Baba at the Trombay. There is a large pipeline which goes to sea, and how heavy water is cooled, it can be recycled, and it could lead to disasters like Fukushima. You might be cooling can be disasters leading to disasters like Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster in 2001 in Japan, Chernobyl like incidents in Russia, nuclear disaster, and Chernobyl. Improper operation and maintenance of nuclear reactors. All of us know that Earth is covered by ozone layer, means O3. It is the blue of the sky which we see from Earth. The duty of ozone is to block infrared and ultraviolet rays to reach to us because they are dangerous to human beings. And ozone layer is protected from ultraviolet rays. Protection are diminished due to stratophysical ozone. This ozone hole has been extended as many square kilometers. So already this process of damage of ozone has been started, and this ozone layer it damages only due to because of this warming, global warming, and acid rain. The climatic changes due to global warming are extensive climatic changes. Acid rain is mixture of wet and dry disposition on atmosphere containing higher and normal amounts of nitric and sulfuric acids. It is caused by both natural resources such as volcanoes and decaying vegetation. Man-made resources, primarily emission of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides resulting from fossil fuel combustion. So we should understand now, and we should take a note of the fact that climatic changes are taking place. Unusual warming and unusual rainy problems like the Kedarnath incident in our India, in Uttarakhand, and unexpected cold waves, unexpected heat waves, unexpected behavior of the atmosphere, unexpected behavior of the nature, or just I don't know whether I can say it perfectly. Recently, COVID-19 pandemic also might be involved in it. So, nitric and sulfuric acid is caused by as a volcano than decaying vegetation. Sulfur dioxide, SO2, and nitrogen oxides, NOx means NO, NO2, NO3, NO4, due to fossil fuel consumption. Yes. You want like most powerful super typhoon in Philippines and devastating air polycaps. Polycaps itself is a destruction phenomenon आणि एअरमध्ये झालेला सुपर टायफॉन म्हणजे फार मोठा वादळी वाऱ्याचा स्ट्रेन आपल्याकडे आपल्याला हे जनरली पाहायला मिळत नाही. म्हणजे आपण अजून नशिबान आहोत, आपल्याकडे असं काही होत नाहीये. तरी मोठ्या मोठ्या घटना होतात, कुठे पूर येणे, कुठे वाहून जाणे, कुठे बर्न्स लागणे, कुठं फॉरेस्ट जळणे वगैरे वगैरे या गोष्टींमुळे devastating air polycaps have been many clear indications of deteriorating atmosphere. This is a great cause of concern because what we are living for the next generations is this, which needs to be considered most strongly in the energy conservation. Now, green energy resources. Green energy is the basic concept that we can replenish the energy generation energy, hydro energy, small hydro and tidal, geothermal, biomass and agricultural waste. First three types, that is the energy, solar, hydrogen energy, and hydro energy, and geothermal. They are solar and basically wind. They are receiving much attention in this case. Greenhouse effect. What is that? We will see now. It is a process by which radiation from a planet's atmosphere warms the planet's surface to a temperature above what it should be without this atmosphere. Means this effect causes the warming of the atmosphere to such a level that such a temperature above that it would be do without this atmosphere. As it is a cause of concern that due to this greenhouse effect, the Earth's temperature is increased disproportionately, and this heating of the Earth is it is leading to pollution and overheating of the Earth is causing dangerous situations to develop, that the icebergs and ice stores on the mountains are melting very much at a fast rate, and the floods are coming down to the rivers. The rivers are being overflowed, and the burning of the melting of this these storage of earth, what we call it as a storage of the ice is very dangerous to for earth. So greenhouse gases. They radiate the energy in all directions. Part of this is directed towards surface warming. The intensity of downward radiation, it is strength of the cross which will depend on the atmosphere temperature and or the amount of greenhouse gases that the atmosphere contains. Which means that the facility. Strength of greenhouse effect is downward radiation. Radiation means flowing away of the gases. So this is greenhouse effect, and greenhouse is about gases. What are greenhouse gases? They are water vapor 36 to 70%. Carbon dioxide, it is very much dangerous, 9 to 26%. Methane is also dangerous, 4 to 9%. Ozone is the useful gas, but it is also 3 to 7%. Carbon dioxide, the most feared enemy of the greenhouse effect, increasing radiative forcing from human activities, attributed mainly to increased atmospheric oxide level. So this is for our discipline that the pollution is to be measured by the fellows who attend the petrol pumps. So that should be done with sincerely, or otherwise only paper work of pollution free phenomena will also emit more carbon dioxide, and form a problem for the radioactive forcing. The dominant cause is atmospheric concentrations of CO2, methane, and nitrous oxide are unprecedented in at least last 800,000 years. Their effects, together with those of anthropogenic, means human drivers, have detected throughout the climate system and extensively likely to have been the dominant cause of the warming since the mid of 20th century. So the carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are the leading to the present situation of global warming. Okay. Cement production, tropical deforestation. Greenhouse effect, actually. Greenhouse means what? A tent covered by our green sheet of cloth. But it is a misnomer because the greenhouse effect is just like keeping a plastic container, keeping it opposite and with gases in speed. The misnomer hitting of the usual greenhouse is due to reduction in convection. But greenhouse effect works by preventing absorbed heat from living structure through radioactive transfer. This is the greenhouse effect. Conservation of energy, most popular solar energy is there. The picture I am showing to you is the solar cells with on solar panels, which were first discovered by Einstein. And it is interesting to note that Einstein got the Nobel not for E is equal to mc square, but for the discovery of the solar energy PV cells, photovoltaic cells. So they worked as expert दुपारी आहे ना solar वरती. त्याच्यावरच वाटतं. In next expert session, you will have a much more deep knowledge of this solar energy. I am just giving an introduction to you. Sunlight causes chemical reactions in PV cells, and in the 21st century, solar is expected to become increasingly active as a renewable energy source because of its inexhaustible supply and non-polluting character. In stark contrast to fossil fuels, coal, petroleum, and natural gas. So this is the coming up technology, and the low cost of it was problematic because cost of the PV cells was very high, but now the cost of PV cells is reducing at a considerable rate. Hence, reduction in this cost will lead to more and more increased use of solar energy. The hurdle is development of sustaining and low-cost batteries with long life. Costs of wind and solar batteries are projected to continue falling due to innovation and economies of scale from increased investment. And moderate amounts of wind and solar energy, which are intermittent energy sources, can be integrated into the electrical grid without additional infrastructure. So these sources generated 8.5% of worldwide electricity in 2019, which is it. So in short, solar and wind are coming up at a very on a very large scale. So sunlight is the largest source of energy, but intensity of Earth is quite low. The Earth atmosphere and clouds which are scattered 54% of incoming sunlight. Sunlight reaches the ground consists of nearly 50% visible height, 45% infrared radiation, smaller amount of ultraviolet and other forms of electromagnetic radiation. So this is the sunlight cycle. It is also effectively, it can be used to understand the greenhouse effect in a common. सूर्य है, रिफ्लेक्टेड एनर्जी है, he absorbed by source of the surface of earth, even reflected as he absorbed by surface and radiated IR atmosphere. So this is the sunlight cycle. Sunlight goes and absorbed by and went away. This is sunlight cycle. So 200,000 times world's total daily energy electronic generation capacity is received by Earth every day in the form of solar energy. High cost of this collection and other still limits the exploitation of many places. Solar radiation can be converted to either thermal energy or into electrical energy, though the former is easier to accomplish. Means through the solar radiation, we can create heat and use it in just the same manner as that of a thermal generation. Wind energy. So there are wind parks, you might see all over here and there. Mechanical wind power of the mechanical nature is converted into, but the kinetic energy is converted into mechanical or electrical energy that can be used for power. It is a renewable energy source. It is not a very recent phenomena. In the old days, it was used for centuries for such as grinding grain, pumping water, and modern commercial wind turbines produce electricity by using rotational energy to an electrical generator. They are made of enclosures called as nacelle, and largest turbine can produce 4.8 to 9.5%. So this is the description of actually what is the tower for a wind system. So wind farms are areas where number of wind turbines are grouped together, providing a larger total resource. This is an example picture of a typical wind farm. Blades can be either 3 or 2. Where to erect the wind towers is based on average wind speed. Means a term of windy areas and non-windy areas are used roughly in the wind engineers. So average wind speed is used for designing of the wind power plants. The United States, there are substantial wind sources in the Great Plains region as well as some offshore locations. Offshore means of the what we call it as offshore of the sea. So the Chinese are here ahead also. More than 7,000 wind turbines at an area in China, the Gansu province, that produces more than 6,000 megawatts of power. What an heavy scale they are creating the wind energy. The Chinese are ahead in this section also. So similarly, there is a London area, and an area of 120 square kilometer, about 40 square miles in Thames estuary and produces up to 63 megawatts of power. So we will conclude that wind is and sun source and wind source are now today's, not tomorrow's energy resources, along with the nuclear. England, so Yorkshire coast, by comparison, typical new coal-fired generating plant averages 550 megawatts, and here you will see it is 1,200 megawatts. So this is the comparison of how much wind power has come up together. Now there are problems of your what we call it as a environmentalists also. They say that because of this wind turbines, the aesthetic view of the nature is distorted, and this causes the destruction of environment also, and many forests are cut to erect the wind turbines. However, that can be addressed very well by choosing moderately the wind system location, or not only based on the high wind potential, but for also achieving it through what we call it as a energy, what we call it as a optimization of use of aesthetic population centers. Okay. Fossil fuel, हायड्रोकार्बन, अदर रिसोर्सेस मध्ये फॉसिल फ्युएल्स येतात, जे की आर्टच्या क्रस्ट मध्ये, म्हणजे तुम्हाला सांगितलं फॉसिल म्हणजे डेड प्लांट्स आणि डेड ॲनिमलचे जे काही रिमनंट्स राहिलेले आहेत, अर्थवरती एक एक लेअर असे वाढत जातात. आपण जे डिगिंग मध्ये आपल्याला डायसोनरचे जे डायनोसॉरचे पार्ट्स मिळतात, ते फॉसिल्स असतात. त्याच्या फॉसिल पासून दुसरे पण आपल्याला एनी क्लास ऑफ हायड्रोकार्बन कंटेनिंग मटेरियल्स, बायोलॉजिकल ओरिजिन, आणि that can be used as source of energy. Only mainly they are diesel and petrol and other oils in our life. Also, coal, petroleum, natural gas, oil shales, bitumens, tar sands are used using organic matter of photosynthesis. This photosynthesis is a very old area, old phenomenon, 4 billion to 2.5 billion years. 19.2 million to 58.2 million. It was derived from algae and bacteria and it was derived from plants. So they can be burnt air, and it may be employed directly, as in the case of home furnaces. Old home furnaces used these resources directly, and they can be similarly used for steam generation and using the steam for propelling the turbines and the synchronous generators on the motive power. Industrial revolution, England is the foremost power in the Western, in the Europe and our world, in which industrial revolution started. There started the consumption of fossil fuels, and it is quite dangerous to see that they supply more than 80% of energy consumed by the industrially developed countries of the world. So the stock of the fossil fuels are limited, with higher consumption, their stores are depleting. Now, coming to our original topic, what is energy conservation? Decision and practice of using less energy. Turning off the light when you leave the room, unplugging the appliances when they are not usable. This is what you are telling us. The point in telling is that energy conservation is to be done without using less energy, but optimizing the use of energy. That is without loss of comfort. So it means that if you are having an AC in your home, you will use in very high temperatures instead of using it in low temperature, and it has got to be used here. It is required like Bombay area or etc. And luxurious use of this AC will be against the energy conservation. To achieve our goal, you are doing some things. Sustain life in forms of size. I am saying size of virus to an elephant and flower plant cells. So, reduce consumption of energy using more efficiently. Efficiency means output upon input. So more efficient vehicles, like we are now having solar vehicles as well. So future resource depletion is to be avoided, and resources are not being coal and oil resources are very much limited. And as I already told you, that coal will last for 1 decade or 2 decades, and oil will go away within some decades, 1 decade or 2 decades. Right now, you can see the rising price of petroleum and diesel. So I doubt whether they will be useful in any petrol or diesel vehicles. Hence, energy conservation meters in buildings are reduced need for energy service and can result in increased environmental quality. It is at the top of the sustainable energy hierarchy. It also lowers energy cost by preventing future resource depletion. One interesting is the stabilization of population growth. This is also an important source. By optimization of population, stabilization of population growth, we will also reduce the demand of energy and wastage and losses. Machines are required for transforming the original form of energy into electricity. The heat through motive power in cars or kinetic energy in water flow through electricity and hydroelectric power plants. Machines are required to transfer energy from one form to another. Green engineering. So wear and friction of the components of machine running cause losses of very high amounts of energy and very high related costs. Sustainable energy. It is the same as non-conventional form of energy. It is often used to interchange with the term renewable energy. In general, renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric are widely considered to be sustainable. Only technological triumphs of human being is required to be develop the sustainable energy on large farm. Conclusion: increase in quantum of green and renewable energy without reducing its capital and operational costs. Now I want to show up. This is called as a triangle of wisdom. This is a interesting thing that I am sharing with you. Somebody says that he has got some knowledge in this field or that field. That is not true. Knowledge comes up in these 6 steps: measurement, facts, data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. So this is the triangle of wisdom. Thanks. Bolognese.
Thank you, sir. I request now, any question is there? So participant, those who want to ask the questions on this presentation, they can unmute yourself and you can ask directly. Yes. No questions? Okay. Now I'm requesting Anuja Madam to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to all. I'm here to express word of thanks. I would like to express our sincere thanks to Dr. Sadegaonkar sir for giving an excellent coverage to energy conservation ideas. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for his efforts towards entire speech, especially regarding fundamental and advanced technical aspects with real life examples, and that too with effective presentation and a detailed PPT. Sir has nicely explained the hazards of not doing energy conservation along with global warming and greenhouse effect. The session is not only helpful in our day-to-day life, but it will definitely help students for their curriculum too. I ensure Dr. Sadegaonkar sir that the awareness that you created among our department, we will definitely spread it in the society. I would like to thank the mentor and president of GS Mandal, Dr. Y.A. Kavde sir, for his constant support. The thanksgiving will not be complete if I fail to thank our Honorable Director General, Professor Munish Sharma. Our beloved principal, Dr. Santosh Bhosle sir, has always been the source of inspiration to us. I thank him too. Faculty members of our electrical department for their support to make this session the successful one. I would now like to declare that this session is over. The next session will start sharply at 3 p.m. So please log in to the second session 10 minutes before it starts. Thank you.
Participants are requested that there is a session number 2 from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So I'll request you all to join before 10 minutes. And those who are unable to join the second session, so you should note that. So you cannot get the certificate also. So the second session join before 10 minutes. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.